just to sort of add a little juice. I might just need to buy a new battery. I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna go buy a battery. But today I didn't have time.
This is some map.
Red River Expressway. Yeah. Everybody wants to blame fracking.
Oh, that's a lot of
Just so you know, earlier today, she asked, Ms. Glover asked, had I sent an email about this meeting? I said, no.
I saw it.
She says,
It was addressed to you.
yeah.
Like you were, like it was your fault.
Like
It was all your fault.
Yeah, that's my laptop thing, but I came without my purse. I already know I left.
And she, and I said, no. I said, I'm not the chair. She said, who is the chair? I said, Chris. She said, Chris?
I was like, you
Why,
didn't
she
take
didn't know who Chris was.
So I get it after.
She was saying Mr. Prattman, the way she looked.
Oh, yeah.
No, she said, no, that's not what she said. She said, Chris.
Good. How about you?
She said, Chris, who is Chris?
She said something about it.
My car battery died. But then it started right back up. I'm gonna go buy another one.
Honestly, like 13, 14.
Is this the CEA?
No, this is just the ordinance that creates the I-49 TIF.
Oh, this is the I-49 thing. What about the?
So many words.
See, not only one of our sons that has used that much.
I don't know, maybe they're trying to pick one of these four.
At some point, I had to stop reading.
They didn't have that.
I don't remember that.
Clear's too strong. Because that's, she was talking about you
Well, this is the
This is also related to the North County.
I don't know why this one has a circle.
I got you. Roundabout? This is not an intersection. Yeah, it is an intersection.
Yeah, it's weird.
So you don't feel like you're missing out.
Okay. Are we gonna, so you have a, what's that? Do you have a CEA, a copy of the CEA?
Don't. But Henry mentioned it.
Henry, do you have a copy of the CEA that we're
Is
discussing?
that the one down there on the left?
The Tim James CEA? Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah. By the wood, I already built it right.
I can do this for 15 minutes. Yeah, you can.
There is a, there's a.
Yeah.
He looks familiar, but I don't know him.
This is the item that created the economic. And this is the attachment.
This would be one like that I have to track. This would go straight to them. And the one we have from Amazon.
Yeah, the money will go to them, but it's gonna probably fill it. I don't know.
But I don't have to calculate it like I do the Stevens. You know, I have to do the little difference in the property tax value.
This is the actual sales tax.
Okay.
This is just the item that created the TIF.
So let's say it's, I don't know if it's a 1 cent, I don't know what it's gonna
It
be.
rhymes with,
It's gonna be pretty hard in the store with the 25.
This should be a good meeting. We're already off on a good foot.
well, at least I won't be confused about those two ones.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Yes, we can start.
Just track it through.
Two after.
Furniture.
I have no earthly idea.
See,
It's either plate tectonics
the
or
tectonic plates,
fracking.
when they come together,
One or
they
the
shift.
other.
That's what it's.
Science.
Probably plate tectonics.
No earthquake.
We didn't have any earthquakes when Todd was here.
See, and I come up there and I shake it up a
This
bit.
is the statement of fact.
Literally shaking things up.
Todd was up there,
No earthquake.
he's up there, they've had to listen.
3 or 4.
I'll lend them some. I want them back though.
And then, but then, They ain't gonna accept it.
Okay.
So you don't have a sufficient number on your.
No, yeah, there's things like that.
Well, we'll volunteer.
Yeah, we
You don't have to gavel.
We're gonna hold off on seeing this one then.
Okay, it is 2:33. There you go.
1 second, I got what y'all were asking for. Here you go, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We got a lot of papers flying. Thank y'all for your patience. And we got a few more copies of this being generated.
We have a quorum, so this meeting of the Long Range Planning and Special Projects Committee meeting. Let's see.
Is it in
Prayer?
order? Sure.
And pledge? All right.
Join me in the word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the many blessings that you've given us. Please be with us as we conduct the business of the parish. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're gonna do a real quick roll call. Commissioner Crackman. Here. And Commissioner Lazarus.
Here.
And Commissioner Thomas is absent. Commissioner Young is, Greg Young is absent. And Commissioner John Paul Young.
Here.
All right, we have 3 of 5 committee members present. That does constitute a quorum. And we are now down to agenda additions. I'm not aware of any for today. So we'll move forward to public comment. And we have a number of members of the public here today, but I don't know if they're waiting to speak during agenda item discussion or at this point in time. Either would be appropriate.
Let's just go by item.
No, is
I
that,
think that would be appropriate.
okay. Just make sure that's good with everybody out there, and that looks like from the nodding heads it is. So we'll move forward to new business, where that first item is to discuss and make a recommendation regarding the establishment of sales tax within the boundaries of the I-49 North Corridor Economic Development District in connection with the pilot agreement with Edgemont Holdings. You will in front of you find a few items that have been distributed and that are related to this item. There's a spreadsheet that looks like this. There is the original ordinance that was adopted creating this, which is 6193 of 2022. And then some people have received, and all will soon receive, a copy of the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement. And Victor Thomas is here as well now, just for the record.
So do we have any public comment for the I-49 tax district?
Without the cooperative endeavor agreement, it's kind of hard to comment.
Can I ask a question?
It's several pages long.
Can you summarize it for us so that we'll know what it is actually detailing? I mean, it was done 2 years ago.
I can't.
I can
Legal can.
address that. With regard to the Austin Travel Center, the first one on the agenda, the background on that is Mr. Jimmy Silvio, who's back over there, is the owner of Edgemont Holdings. They are the developer of the travel center at the Austin interchange on I-49, North I-49. They came to us wanting some economic development assistance. The IDB got involved. There is a pilot that has been signed up that several years ago to reimburse his cost of infrastructure, because basically at his expense, he extended the utilities from the town of Austin to the interchange. And so the point of the pilot is to reimburse him for his expenditure in constructing public facilities. There are 2 pieces to it. The first is that the pilot is affecting his property taxes. That, according to the spreadsheet in front of you, would pay out in 2035. The other part of the agreement was that the Economic Development District, which tracks exactly the tract owned by him, would impose a 2% sales tax, which would accelerate the payout of the pilot, essentially putting this property back on the tax rolls in 2030 as opposed to 2035. So the property goes back on the tax rolls 5 years earlier. So from that standpoint, essentially, a little bit of background, the Economic Development District that was created by the Commission by ordinance, the Commission is the governing authority for the Economic Development District. And so the Commission itself would vote to impose the sales tax at a future meeting. Essentially what we're asking, the administration is asking for at this point, is to get a green light to go through, start that process, because that process requires that there be several advertisements, calling of a public hearing, a public vote with regard to imposing the sales tax. So essentially what we're asking for is a green light to move forward with that process. Mr. Silvio's here. He can talk about his development, payroll, that he's put into place up there in northern Caddo Parish. Some of the details, if you have any questions of him with regard to the project. I would note that the latest development up there is I think you've now got the franchise for.
A Subway, we've had a Subway restaurant.
Yeah, and then the travel.
We became a TA Express, Travel Centers of America Express franchise.
Questions for administration or for Mr. Silvio?
Mr. Chair, thank you. I have a question for you, Henry.
Sure.
Just so that I can just recap what you said in my own words and understand it.
Mm-hmm.
The pilot is this top section of the spreadsheet we have, and that reimburses costs for construction in 2035. That's when we're all square.
Correct.
And then the lower one is the sales tax. And what does the sales tax reimburse?
Same thing.
Same thing.
In
So
other
there's
words-
two ways of reimbursing. And on this one, it says we would be all square with sales tax in 2030.
Correct.
And so this is to establish a sales tax from 2031 on.
No, it's to establish a sales tax this year.
Okay, well, it says EDD sales tax 2% as reimbursement here already.
Well, that sales tax has not been created yet.
Is that just an example?
No, that's actually what the ask is.
Oh, so that's the
This is
request,
it.
and we're voting about whether to recommend that number or a different number.
Or to do it at all.
Okay, and then, so is it required to have both of these taxes to reimburse his costs? Or does one of them reimburse the cost on its own? Does the property tax pay him back, or does he need the sales tax also to pay him back?
The property tax pays him back by 2035.
Uh-huh.
If you adopt the sales tax, it pays him back by 2030.
Okay, and then what would happen to the property tax in that case?
As the property tax, if the property would go on the tax rolls and be taxed. Earlier, correct,
Okay.
5 years earlier.
So if we did the sales tax recommendation at the bottom, then we would cancel this stuff on the top.
Correct.
Okay, so he's only getting one tax rebate, and it can either be through property or not rebate,
No.
but he's getting one tax payback either through property or sales. Or
His-
both,
His.
but it would finish earlier if you did
We're
the
trying to get
sales.
both.
Yeah.
You want both, and then we would be all square at the end of 2030.
The,
That's correct.
the pilot is already in place, signed up and recorded in the courthouse.
Okay,
So that's been done. What was your investment in the infrastructure? Roughly?
Probably about 2.3 million, I think.
And so that's what we're paying back.
Our original estimate was 1.9, but
Yeah.
I see the
material
number
cost
1.4
and
here.
inflation brought us to about 2.3 actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this 1.44 million number on the spreadsheet? That's the number that cumulative pilot savings in 2035, or for the property, or cumulative savings for pilot and sales tax, 1.44 million.
That was essentially, that savings is the benefit at that point, I think 1.4 was.
Okay, so we're not paying back every penny he spent, we're paying back some of
Not
it.
at all.
No,
There's
no,
there's
no.
a cap on it.
Great. And so, just one more time so that I'll be totally sure.
Mhm.
Like, if we have both of these tax agreements,
Right.
then, like, we'll be done paying him back for his efforts in 2030.
Correct.
Okay.
And at that point, the property would go on the tax roll.
And then he'll just be a normal taxed citizen, property, everything.
And
5 years earlier.
Okay.
ballpark, what's the value of the property up there, ballpark? Investment, or how much did you spend?
Well, we spent probably 13 million, I think, so.
So we're looking at that going on the tax rolls.
That's with
Okay.
all the infrastructure costs now,
Sure.
so.
So you'd rather get paid back earlier,
It'd be very helpful to us.
and we'd
That's our
rather
original-
start taxing you earlier too.
Yeah. Which is fine, but, you
Yeah.
know, but
Right.
yeah, you know, we, you know, Dr. Wilson, when he was here, he kind of pushed, I met him through, Jack Skaggs. That's how we accumulated all this. So, the agreement was we go to Austin, we build everything, we actually, and I told them I would annex the property to the town, so they would actually have a sales tax base, because they don't have anything here. So we've kept all those promises. So we built the highway, you know, we've expanded the highway, brought all the water in. We've even got fiber optic run through the town to our sites of the town with that fiber optic. So we have electric charging station, everything we promised we've done, so.
And the sales tax would only be at this location.
Just at your building would do sales tax, yeah.
Yeah, just our property.
Okay.
It's an 8-acre facility, so.
Oh, okay, great. And so this is 2% on top of the normal parish sales tax for a total of what percent?
It's gonna work out, of course, the state just changed their sales tax, but I think it's gonna work out to about 11.
Okay, so, because we charge about 9 normally, is that right?
Well,
It
that's,
depends on where you are.
Well, because half of it is state and half of it is
Yeah,
federal.
in that area, it's about 9.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Well, those are all my questions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other commissioners have any questions?
No, this is the project on Highway 2.
Yeah, how it, and we created 24 jobs, we have about a $49,000 payroll monthly, so everything we projected, we said we would do, is coming to pass.
So, we really have three options here. We have the sales, the property, or both.
We've already got the property.
So,
the property
right,
taxes, that piece has already been done.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Well, I asked without asking, I guess. And, so the total here. So we're gonna increase the sales tax to cover, to foot the bill and get our taxes early, more or less. Okay. I can't think of anything else. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, that was our original agreement when we started the project, was to have both of these in place for us. So,
Is that written down somewhere?
at the time, materials were increasing about, you know, they're actually 40% higher than they were 3 years ago when we started, so.
And that sales tax is only on your sales.
Just on our sales, yeah.
Right.
It
Right,
didn't
well,
come out of anybody.
I remember the original deal was the interchanges, all four of those interchanges and Highway 1, and, people weren't very happy about that at all. And so this is just TA's little corner of the world.
Correct.
And,
Originally, it was several interchanges. It was then reduced to just that interchange, and then it was later reduced to just TA's property.
Right. Does anybody else have any other questions for this gentleman?
I have a motion.
All means.
I would like to move that this committee recommend the 2% sales tax for the Economic Development District in question as reimbursement.
Second.
Do you have a?
No, I was just gonna say,
Mr. Bernstein.
in terms of process, what will happen is that we're going to have to then start the advertising process for the commission to take that action, to have the public hearing and things like that. And so basically, this will be a green light for administration to start that process.
So is there particular wording he needs to include in the
That's fine.
motion, or
No,
that's
just,
good enough?
Just a recommendation to the full body.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
You may, go ahead, any more discussion?
I want to say this on the record. As far as for my constituents, this is a sales tax increase. Therefore, I cannot support it. Understandably, because there aren't any other stores in that area whatsoever. And to say that those people could pass by TA and go to Walmart instead is a bit of a stretch, because that's 30 minutes south of Halston, so I can't support it. That's all I've got.
Okay, and are we ready for the vote?
Unless
No?
anybody else says anything.
Okay, Commissioner Crackman.
No.
And Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Greg Young is absent, and Commissioner John Paul Young.
Yes.
All right, that gives you 3 in favor, 1 in opposition, and 1 absent, and that motion does carry. And that brings us to item 6.2, which is to discuss and make recommendations regarding potential amendments to the Red River Expressway Cooperative Endeavor Agreement and assignment.
Any public comment about the tollway?
We don't know what the document said. It wasn't attached. Well, I mean, if you're gonna have a meeting.
We just got it too.
Well, in all fairness, guys, if you're gonna have a committee meeting, in fairness to Jeff, the document should be provided him in time to be attached to the agenda. If you look at all the other, public bodies, whether it's the school board, the parish, the city, even Bossier of all places, has attached documents so that members of the public can look at them ahead of time and be able to make intelligent questions or comments. So I think it's really a violation of the open meetings law to have a meeting to review sophisticated legal documents that have not been provided otherwise. In all fairness, I don't know how in the heck y'all can vote on it. I really don't. I don't know how you can vote on a document you just looked at. And I'm gonna consider action to require that documents at committee meetings be provided ahead of time. Seriously, I had problems with the last one. I couldn't ask a question. I don't know if Mr. Sylvia is gonna collect the 2% and put it in his pocket, or send it in and it's refunded to him. I don't know how the parish is gonna keep track of the 2% to apply to the debt balance, et cetera. I assume that's in the documents, but I can't ask any questions. And of course, I can ask questions that come later, but I just think it's poor government. I'm really poor government, and I'm going to address it. How can y'all review this document and vote on it when it was just handed to you? And I don't care if the council's here and the whole world's here. They're gonna say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
All fairly stated, and hopefully those documents will be for the public for the next
Well,
few
they'll have to
public
be,
hearings.
but you're violating due process. You're gonna have a committee action that's gonna come out in favor of something. It's gonna roll through the commission because everybody thinks it's good. Y'all give them a stamp of approval without looking at it.
Again, all fairly stated. Ms. Glover?
Yes, I want to piggyback on what Mr. Settle had shared with you all, because when I sat there and listened at the comments saying you all were reimbursing the cost of expenditures whereby constructing a public facility, I mean, again, the CEA was not made readily available, nor is this document for the Red River Express CEA available. So how is it that when we ask questions, we can't ask questions? We have no bona fide comment, because even when I reached out via email, and I sent it to the wrong person, and I want to apologize
That's all right.
for that, Commissioner Lazarus and Commissioner Crackman, but it was sent to all, so I still should have gotten some kind of response, whereby I could be ready to address an item that you all have here that you're discussing at this particular point. Right now, I'm just in the dark, accepting conversations from 2 years ago that I don't know anything about, and I'm pretty sure these guys that are new to here don't know anything about it either. So, for the record, definitely we need to do better in getting that information to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. John. Anybody else have a public comment about something that we know nothing about? Nobody?
Do I need to clarify anything for you? As far as what I know how it works, I mean.
Well, we're on a different agenda item now.
That's a whole different thing.
Thank you.
No, we
Can I say something?
Please.
I would just like to point out for the record that the reason these 2 documents were printed and are available to us now is because I asked for them. That's all.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say on record, on 6.1, I was able to research and find out the information for myself, so that's why I was aware of what was going on prior to coming into this meeting. However, on 6.2, after hearing what the citizens have said, those are very valid points. I'm very open to a discussion for it, but I would ask that we not make a recommendation today out of this committee.
Well, here's what I would like to know, admin or legal, and I haven't read the 100-page document that was just given to us. Are we voting on one of these routes? I mean, what exactly is it that we're trying to recommend on?
This was, of course, the tollway was approved by commission ordinance several years ago. In the interim, there has been discussion between the tollway developer and the parish about amending the cooperative endeavor agreement to make some changes to it, lessening the parish's obligations under it. Additionally, the tollway developer would like to assign the agreement to a different entity. And so, because that is an assignment of the agreement, the administration felt like we ought to come to the commission and secure the commission's blessing for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since some of us have this in front of us right now, could you tell us which sections we're talking about in the CEA?
Well, the most significant change in the CEA is that under the original CEA as signed, the surface road on the parish side would become a parish road, subject to a 15-year warranty from the developer. Mm-hmm. So the parish should be responsible, while not for roadway maintenance, the parish should be responsible for trash.
This one?
Yes.
This one.
Brilliant. So it would be responsible, just as any other parish road, for trash pickup, litter, all those sorts of issues. And also just basically for maintenance, because the warranty is just our opportunity to call on the developer to fix something. From that standpoint, the change that we're proposing and that the developer has agreed to is that this will no longer become a parish road and will no longer be the parish's responsibility to maintain. It will be the developer's road.
So it would be privately owned?
Correct.
Does that mean there would be a toll to enter that road?
No.
Okay, just the bridge?
Just the bridge. That road will actually run between the intersection of Flournoy Lucas and Louisiana 3132 to LA1, north of the port. Yeah. And so you would be able to drive from Flournoy Lucas to LA1 on the road. However, the agreement maintains and continues the parish's right to approve the design and the plans for the roadway. So that if, on review of those, we saw an issue that we felt like we needed to address on behalf of the residents in that area, we could address that issue based on our ability to review and approve those plans. So that is essentially the major change. The rest of it's pretty much verbiage change, I say verbiage in the sense of spelling, grammar, that sort of thing.
So, in more direct response to my question, if we don't make a decision about this specifically today, in our next meeting, can you have highlighted for us the exact sections that we're talking about amending the language in? Maybe it's section 6, connecting roads.
Yeah, I have a marked up copy now.
Okay.
If you would like.
Yeah, I mean, that would be helpful to see what the changes look like and how significant they are. And then the road in question that we were just talking about that connects 3132 and Flournoy Lucas to Highway 1, you say we have the right to approve those plans. I only see one route through here, except for the possibility of branching later. Are those the parts that we're approving? Because it looks like we have only one choice for the main stretch of this.
The route And both the developer's engineer and attorney are here, and they can address that in more detail, but I can tell you the route has not been finalized, to my understanding.
Okay.
So-
Well, I just don't see any options, so.
Well, no, it's actually down to.
They don't want me to
it-
try it.
It's down to the level, it's down to the level